right, let's do our gobi aloo. Remember, it just translates to potatoes, cauliflower. Now, with the potatoes, we're always using skin on because that's where all the vitamins are. A potato is actually pretty good for you if you keep the skins on. So we're going to cube the potatoes. We're going to cut the cauliflower. Potatoes are really easy. I'm going to start with a little tile the width of a medium dice. Now I'll turn it on its flat side. A few more tiles about that size. Tile becomes a slice. And a slice, if you turn it sideways, becomes a dice. It's a really easy way to remember your cuts. So I'm going to cut a few of these potatoes from tile to slice to dice. I'm just going to make probably about 4 portions, and that looks good to me. Cauliflower. It's one of those really great, kind of taken for granted vegetables. It's got a lot of vitamins in it. It cooks up great. It almost gives you that starchiness of a potato without all the calories. So the easy way is to come dead middle, which exposes kind of that main core, which we don't want anyway. And then from here, you can kind of see where you want to go. I can see the florets from here, so I can come in at an angle and kind of cut that middle out, and I've got the sides now that just pulled away. And I'll come in for the rest of the florets here. I'm just taking the really large pieces and cutting them into like sizes, like the potato. And I do want to keep the stems of the florets because a lot of texture is there. So I've got my pre-prepped cauliflower potato. I've got my wet masala ready to go. I can start to fire. High heat. Remember, neutral oils, always when cooking Indian food, neutral oils. And I just want to coat the bottom. The order is always the same when cooking Indian food. Wet masala to dry masala. And in case you forgot, wet masala just means your ginger, your garlic. I'm going in for first my ginger. I'm going for my garlic. And again, the modifier for this is going to be using the whole seeds, whole cumin seeds. Whole seeds kind of scent the dish. The ground spices actually flavor the dish. So it's a really nice kind of contrast there. Now remember, we have to infuse, you know that wonderful Indian word infuse, or also known as blooming. We have to open up the flavors of all our masalas, be it wet or dry. And as long as we can keep up with it, meaning it's not burning on us or kind of getting brown on us, we can keep it at a pretty high temp as long as we're keeping it moving. Now I feel it start to stick a little bit. That means the heat's getting a little high. These things are really doing what they're supposed to. I'm going to turn that slightly low. Now I'm ready for my dry masalas. And the whole idea here is that frothing of those spices. And that really means that they're opening up their flavors. So I'm going to start with turmeric. I've got garam masala. And now I've got the ground cumin. We had the whole cumin. Now we've got the ground cumin. And again, I'm always thinking about my heat when I'm doing this because I don't want to burn these spices. Let's let those bloom. You want to smell each of those individually before we add our vegetables because we want to bring them right up to that height of their potential before we add the vegetables in there. And as long as you're not burning them, you're in the right place. So it's time for the vegetables now. Now, since I cut them into similar size, they're going to cook pretty evenly. So there's no order in which, I can put them in. I don't have to put one before the other. I can just mound them in and go together. That's perfect. Veg is in, spices are in. Now I need to get this vegetable to cook, and I'm going to do that by creating steam. Water is going to be the way you create steam. Now this is a pure vegetarian dish, so we don't want any stock or coconut milk or anything. It's just a little bit of water. And it's really cooked down those vegetables quite nicely. How about a touch more of the turmeric here to give us a really beautiful yellow color? Because we eat with our eyes before we actually put food in our mouth. So if it looks beautiful, you know it's going to taste even better. So we're checking for just enough seasoning. Now, if it's too highly seasoned now, it might be too salty at the end. Salt also helps in breaking down the vegetables as well. So that's looking good. I'm going to put the cap on that, allow that to continue to cook so those vegetables soften. The gobi looks great. It's soft. I want to make sure that the potatoes are tender, the cauliflower is tender. And that sauce works, and that all works for me.